The showdown is over. In a surprise move late Sunday night, President Trump signed the COVID relief and government funding bill after days of delay and demanding last-minute changes. William Brangham begins our coverage.
The House will be in order.
Lawmakers returned to Washington today after a high-stakes standoff with President Trump over coronavirus relief and government funding.
It really is a disgrace.
For days, the president refused to sign the $2.3 trillion bill to provide $900 billion in coronavirus relief and to fund the federal government through the rest of fiscal year 2021. But then, last night, he suddenly reversed course. In a statement, the president said he had signed the bill, but was demanding many rescissions to claw back what he said was wasteful spending. That's even though his own administration had helped negotiate the legislation. Still, his demands for cutbacks are unlikely to go anywhere. Congresswoman Nita Lowey, who chairs the House Appropriations Committee, said she and other Democrats will reject any rescissions submitted by President Trump. The president's statement also called for Congress to increase the bill's $600 checks for Americans earning up to $75,000 a year to $2,000.
Republicans have a choice. Vote for this legislation or vote to deny the American people the bigger paychecks they need.
That gave Democrats in the House of Representatives the opportunity to vote today on an attempt to push through those $2,000 checks, forcing Republicans to either approve the spending or break with the president.
I worry that this whopping $463 billion won't do what's needed.
But that measure is unlikely to pass the Senate, with Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and other Republicans opposed to such relief spending.
Senate Democrats are fighting for $2,000 per person.
Today in New York, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called for President Trump to lean on Senate Republicans to get those bigger checks passed.
Today I am telling Donald Trump, don't just talk about it, act. These Senate Republicans have followed you through thick and thin. Get them now to act and support the $2,000 checks.
President-elect Joe Biden today said he also supports the $2,000 checks. President Trump's decision to sign the bill did avert the government shutdown that was set to begin tonight. But his delay of several days likely cost millions of Americans a week of the additional $300 in federal unemployment assistance and delayed the $600 direct payments.
I'm kind of relieved right now that he signed the bill, but still, kind of worried a little bit because what's going to happen in the near future with us.
Shanda McCoy was laid off from her job at the Dayton Airport in Ohio at the beginning of the pandemic. She says the bill's unemployment benefits can only stretch so far.
I pay rent, utilities. I have to pay car insurance, a car payment. I have grandkids. And, these are young parents that still need some help. I can't help my grandkids as much.
I lost my job in 2008 when the economy crashed. And I did end up being homeless for a while.
Angela Retamosa was laid off from her job as an accounting assistant in March. She says she tried to save what little she could from the last round of COVID relief, knowing it could expire at the end of the year.
I'm at least able to know that I have enough money to pay rent next month. But after that, I don't know.
That uncertainty is a reality for millions of Americans, still waiting for relief amid this pandemic. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm William Brangham.
And just this evening, the House voted to increase stimulus payments from $600 to $2,000. 44 Republicans joined the Democratic majority in voting for that increase. For more on this vote and President Trump's decision to sign the bill and what comes next, Anna Palmer joins us now. She's senior Washington correspondent for Politico. Anna, welcome back to the NewsHour, and thanks for being here. Let's start with President Trump's decision to sign that relief bill. What do we know about what took him so long and why he finally changed his mind?
And this was really a crisis of the president's own making. The bill was on its way to being signed. It had been negotiated by the White House and both houses of Congress. At the last minute, he decided to throw this wrench in it. And for days, everybody was in limbo. Certainly the people that were expecting and needing those checks, but also the fact that it was tied to government funding, which would have really shut down the government. And there was not a real endgame there. We know that several members of Congress, Senate Republicans like Lindsey Graham, went to him, spoke with him, made the case that he needed to support this COVID relief bill, that Georgia, which is obviously in play with the 2 runoffs, would be lost by Republicans if he shut down the government and they did not get the relief that is needed for Americans before the end of the year.
So as William Brigham just reported in a statement last night after signing the bill, President Trump said he wants less wasteful spending from Congress. He's demanding these rescissions, sending to Congress a red line bill, basically itemizing all the funds that he wants removed. Is the president going to get any of that? What is the practical impact of those requests?
This gives the president a way to say that he had a win in terms of what he wants to actually have happen with funding. This is not a reality. Both houses have moved on from this spending bill. The House appropriators, which are really the power of the purse, have said they will not be considering any of the rescissions that the president would or could, give to them before he leaves office. But this is really more of a talking point for the president. It has no basis in reality.
So we see now the House has supports that suggestion to raise the stimulus payments to $2,000. Democrats have always been asking for more money, but this puts Republicans in a pinch, particularly in the Senate. So what's going to happen there? Are they going to back that increase in stimulus payments?
Yeah, House Democrats just eked out a 2/3 majority, which they needed in order for this bill to move forward into the Senate. The real question is going to be, what, if any, pressure does President Trump put on his allies in the Senate to actually take this up? There was already some strong rejections of it in previous smaller amounts. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, a key ally of the president's, opposed a $1,200 check bill before this. So it's hard to see where he would be rounding up the support, and in particular, because he isn't making those calls. To our knowledge, he has not been on the phone trying to press the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to actually take this vote up. So unless he does that, it appears that this will just pass in the House, but it will die in the Senate.
Anna Palmer, senior Washington correspondent with Politico. Always good to talk to you.